Day one, disabled hiker. I brought my faithful companion here, Shio. He's going to be my hiking buddy for the next 2 days. And we're going to show you some tricks on how to continue hiking even though you're disabled. One of the things that might seem kind of weird is that even though it looks like quite a load I have on my back, it only weighs 20 pounds. The 20 pounds is, just necessities. I had made a food drop a little further up, so I didn't have to carry so much food in. I brought an emergency stash of food just in case a bear got my other food. Always a good idea to have a backup plan. But the whole idea was not to have to carry so much food and water in. I have a water stash back here at the trailhead as well to help with that problem. I just basically started out. I'm going to find out, I have a pedometer. I'll find out how far it is in that we're actually camping. I think it's only like a half of a mile, but that should do. Alright, shall we? Come on, Shio. Now, as you might gather, I have a bit of a problem with my breathing. I had a lung blowout a couple of years ago. Not much fun. And from the surgery, left me with considerable nerve damage. It's been many years since I've had a pain-free day. It's not about pain-free or not, it's a matter of keep going. No matter what, you keep going. Just like my little buddy there. He's keeping going. He's tired of waiting for me. I figured he's carrying 3/4 of a liter of water on each side of him. I figured that would slow him down, but he's actually doing pretty good. This is his first trip where he hasn't been actually tethered to me. It's kind of hard to walk around with a tethered dog when you got mobility issues on such terrain. It's not so bad taking him for a walk in the city because he's very well behaved on the leash. Shio, stop. Shio, stay. Good boy. It helps to have a very well trained dog. I've been working on him for many years. He's a great dog though. Shio, what are you doing? You're a good boy. Yeah, Shio, stop. Shio, stay. As you can see, he's very well behaved. Okay, I've had a breather. Come on, let's go, Shio. It's hard with the camera in one hand too, but I think it's important to understand that even if you're disabled, you can't stop doing the things that you love. You can't. You gotta continue. If you don't continue, your quality of life just goes to hell. And I've had enough of that lately. The last few years have been really bad. I'll talk about that later. I just need to get up this hill right now. So I think I'm going to turn off the camera because I've come to some rather treacherous terrain here, as you can see, going up. And I'll turn it on again a little later. Dogsha. Well, I'm here. Camp's all set up. It was a grueling trip. When you're disabled, one thing that's very, very important to keep in mind, and I'm still kind of trying to get used to, is that you can't set your goals too high. A lot of times A lot of times you just find out you can't make it. You just can't do it. Now this, as it works out, it only was about a half of a mile to get in here, which is good. It's well within my limits. It took several breaks getting in here. Way too many, according to my buddy here, Shio. He don't like when I stop too often when he's got a weight on his back. So it's kind of funny. He actually was pushing me today, which that's nice. Yeah, I'm all set up here. Guess who's sacked out now? He's tired. But that's my bivouac. Has my hammock underneath it. It's a nice little campsite. I've used it a lot of times, which is another good thing to keep in mind when you're disabled. You want to go somewhere where you're used to it, where you know what you're going to run into. You don't have any huge surprises, especially if you're just getting back into it again. I had a full year hiatus here where I couldn't do any hiking at all. According to my wife, I really shouldn't be out here now, but I'm not really in any specific danger. It's just that she sees what I go through on a daily basis as far as pain goes, so it's no surprise that she sees me come out here and I'm already feeling miserable before I even head out. But hey, I gotta do something. I can't vegetate. I never was very good in school or anything like that, so becoming a rocket scientist just isn't in the cards. Well, in either event, I'm here. I'm going to take a nice long rest, relax, try to regroup a little bit. Started getting a little frustrated setting up and stuff, which is not good. It's a good idea when you get to that level to sit down, but as you can see, it's kind of cloudy out. Really not much sun, and I'm kind of worried about getting whacked with a rainstorm. All too possible. So, well, we'll see what happens. I don't mind the rain now that I'm set up. The reason I'm so out of breath is I just got the fireplace all ready to go. I really love this place. So even though you might see something built and the structure semi remains there, and when I'm all done I'll probably show that to you too, but I pull everything away from the sides, so no sparks catch or anything. There's a lot of leaf litter here, and hollowed out the inside of the pit and all. I cleared all this out. All these rocks, these extra rocks were inside here, and now that it's all empty, this will dry out a little bit before I actually start a fire in there. As you notice, all out here, I took the leaf litter and just pushed it out away from the outside edges of this, so it didn't catch anything on fire. When I'm done, and that's why I didn't haul it away or anything like that. When I'm done, it'll all be moved back. I like when I leave here to leave as little sign that I was here as possible. Those things where, the less sign you leave behind, the better. I'm always trying to find new ways to leave less sign that I was here behind. Alright, one more thing before I go out and try to track down some firewood for tonight. One other basic item that especially a disabled hiker should have, especially bear spray. It's really kind of important that you bring something like this, because you might think, oh, I'll bring a gun. Well, most of the time you're not allowed to bring a gun. People are so whacked out by what they see with a bear, they never think to, like do anything but piss it off more. You know? Nothing is more dangerous or upset than a wounded bear. Nothing. So like the bear spray, it upsets him for a while, but the irony to this is, and that's why they tell you that as soon as you use this, don't think, oh, I'm safe now, I can stay here. No, leave. Do not stay in this camp. The spray actually has an intoxicating effect on the bear after a while, and after he's shaken off the fact that it really hurt, it starts to smell good to him, and he'll be back. He'll be back for more. So, this gives you time. This gives you time to, get out, leave the area, Now, I'm not saying this thing's going to track you through the woods, we're not in Hollywood here. But, it's one thing that, the bear will actually find this enticing, and he'll actually come back and, like, start sniffing around where, the leaves and stuff that also got sprayed along with him, He'll be, happy to come back for it. You don't want to be there. You want to be far, far away. It doesn't matter what kind of bear spray it is. It really don't. That's why I'm not even going to take it out of this thing, to show you. All that matters is that it works and works quickly. That's all you need. And it's nice also that it has some kind of a holster that you can wear on your belt, because if it isn't handy, it's not worth the damn, I had to kick myself in the ass because I was like running all around here, and this thing was just sitting over here, and like while I was setting up camp, I've turned around and had bears standing right behind me. So like, you really want to have this thing within arm's reach if you're disabled. If you're not disabled, well, across camp isn't that far away. But me, it's a little further away. It's something that I gotta. First, I'm probably gonna be crawling to it, which I'm sure makes a nice target for the bear. Here's this crawling human being. Looks like lunch to me. Okay. I find, like, the later in life I'm getting, the more seems to be taken away from me. A little bit here and there, just like pecks away at you, And a little while ago, I started realizing how much more do I want taken away from me? How much more can I handle being taken away from me? And that's why I set my sights on this. I had very high hopes for a while. I was going to do a much larger hike. I actually was going to try to come out for about a month, but my health just didn't bear that out. It just did not. My breathing gets really hard. I got a lot of pain even now. I've got it like in my chest where I feel like I got something stabbing me. When I think about it, if I had to be sitting home or sitting out here and having that stabbing pain, I'd rather be here. I wish my wife was here, because that's even a sweeter arrangement. But just having me and my dog being able to get out here. This is the first time I've been able to come out here overnight. I'd say it's been a year and maybe a month, 13 months since I've been able to get out here. And even then, it was a camping trip. But, I had my son haul damn near everything in for me. It was really, I felt sorry for him. I have film footage, of his pack when he was coming in here, because I followed him, and this thing was a mountain on his back. He did it though. God bless him. He did it. He got us in here. I tell you, I can't say enough about hiking companions, especially if you're disabled. I'm kind of doing a dangerous thing coming out here.
with you know, all the times I've had encounters before and been able to kind of just push them off. But to have something like this guy with me is a gem. This is like one of the best friends you could have on a hike like this. He is alert. You couldn't tell by looking at him now. But he has alerted me to wildlife many times. When we were hiking, he actually stopped me in my tracks to keep me running into God knows what, but he was determined that I was not to pass him until like 5 minutes passed, and then everything went back to normal and he was fine. We moved on. He didn't growl or anything at me, but he refused to move one more step, and he stood right in front of me and wouldn't let me move either. You can't buy protection like that, you know. He's amazing. He really is. I can't say enough about, you know, having a hiking companion. You can't get a human one. This one is just as good, just as good. He was a chore to train. He had some bad habits. The day I had him, he got home and he was running around the house having a good old time meeting everybody. And I made myself a cup of coffee. I took the cup of coffee, I turned around, I put it on the dining room table, and I turned around to get the creamer, and I turned back, and he was sitting in my chair drinking my coffee. It was just that fast. I knew right away we'd be fast friends from there on. Any dog who loves coffee, right? Yeah. Now, something to keep your dog safe is I have what I call jingle bobs on it. It's not just the jingle on the noise, because the jingle is actually more for me, because I can tell where he is by that jingle. Even when we're hiking, behind me, I can tell, you know, is he far away or is he right up my butt? You know, I can tell exactly where he is. But even more than that, it clacks. And I've found over the years, I've known a lot of people that swear by snake bells and stuff like that, and bear bells. But I've really never heard of an incident where a bell has kept anyone from having a snake or a bear encounter. But it's a different story when you have something that actually makes a clacking noise, or something that transfers noise into the ground. You know, all these tags and stuff like that make a clacking, kind of annoying kind of sound, and that transfers into the ground and allows other animals to know you're coming, especially something that hears as well as a bear, you know, and even more so something that hears as acutely as a snake. A snake is always feeling the ground for vibrations, waiting to find, you know, what's coming its way. It don't want to get stomped on, you know, just like anybody else. Now, what I've done for my walking sticks is somewhat the same thing, but what it is I have these are just beads, and they're constantly making noise against my walking stick. You know, I can't move without making noise with my walking stick. Point in fact is, before I started using this method, I was sure to almost step on one rattlesnake a year. It was a sure bet. It was almost like clockwork. I couldn't tell what trip it would be, but it would happen. Now, for the past like 5 years or so, I have not seen one rattlesnake since, and they are still around. They're everywhere. You know, and my brother-in-law goes and he sees them all over the place. But since I've been using this method, I've not seen one. I have also not run into one bear on the trail either, which it's a pretty good record. It's one that I've proven to myself. Yeah, I have a sleeping mat for him. I gotta find a way, since I'm in a hammock, I gotta find a way to keep him off the ground a bit. He'll freeze otherwise. He's got a good coat on him, but his belly is actually kind of bald, so like I kind of feel sorry for the little guy. He got hair, like a really good thick overcoat up here, you know, good guard hair and stuff, but underneath he's really thin. So That's why I also have a sleeping bag for him. He actually uses a sleeping bag. I just made it out of a fleece, an old fleece sleeping bag, and it works very effectively. And he climbs in it, stays in it most of the night.
It's getting dark. We did have some wildlife down through here, but Shio thought starting a fire would scare him away, and it really did. It really helped a lot. Afterwards, he laid right down, went to sleep. He's not really interested in anything out there right now. Fire is a good companion for that. If you use fire, you can usually keep predators at bay, in the United States at least. There are those countries where it just don't work. Even mountain lions will tend to stay away from a fire, which as a rule, as big cats go in other countries, that's not always the case. You hear a lot about, jaguars and stuff like that. They don't really, they don't like to stay outside. Don't like to follow the rules. Well, I've been having a lot of pain since I settled in here. It's about time for another couple of pain pills. Oh yeah, I stabbed myself with a stick right in the chest. Man, did that hurt. Breaking firewood. All of a sudden a piece popped. It went rammed right in my chest. It had a nice sharp end on it. I have a nice big bruise. Brought tears to my eyes. I'm okay though. Okay, this is where Shio's gonna sleep. My little buddy here. He's all sacked out. He was ready for bed. He was ready for bed a long time ago. But yeah, I have to get him in his sleeping bag. This is his sleeping bag. It's really just, excuse me here, buddy. It's really just an old fleece sleeping bag. You can see I had nylon straps on it, and I just cut it in half. Made sure the zipper was down on the one side, of course. And then I just kind of folded it over and sewed it back on itself. It's been working very well. And you might say, well, how do you get a dog to use a sleeping bag? Well, one way is I just use it as a blanket like this. He doesn't seem to mind very much. However, I decide to use it. But I'll demonstrate here. Shio, hup, come on. Come here. Come here, come. Okay, stay. And I simply just lay the sleeping bag out for him. No, stay. Open it up. Okay, come. Lead him to it. Say, down. And usually go straight down. And then it's just a matter of pulling it up over him. Now, on a night like this, it's pretty nice. Yeah, it's not really cold or anything, so like, I'm probably just going to leave it unzipped. That way, if he wants to crawl out of it, he can with no problem. He can get out of it, the other way. It's just usually you'll drag it across the campsite before he gets rid of it. But this way here, he can just climb right out of it pretty easy. He'll stay like this most of the night unless something disturbs him. He does not mind using this. As a matter of fact, it seems like he actually likes it because he doesn't have to worry about freezing his butt off. Yeah, he's a good dog. He's worth every bit of it that I put into him as far as carrying a little extra weight. He's well worth it. Well, it took a little work, but I'm in bed. In my little hammock world here. It's usually very, very comfortable. Great place to sleep. But you're a bit exposed. You're out in the open. You never know what's going to walk by. Actually, it was one night. It wasn't too far away from here, where I was sound asleep, but it was one of those very full moon nights where you could see almost as clear as day. And I remember I was laying kind of on my side. One thing that I remember noticing too is that there was a weird smell, a real weird musky smell. I opened my eyes and all I could see was brown. I kept thinking to myself, I wasn't that close to the trees. You know, I didn't have a tree like right here next to me. And I just laid there real still, and I hear, and I realized, oh my God, this deer is standing about 2 inches away from my nose. It's like really incredible. But like I said, you're a little exposed, so you never know what you're really going to be up against. But I don't know. I always liked hammocks, but you do have to. They do have their advantages and disadvantages. There's nothing you can do about that. But tonight, I'm just going to feel the advantages. I have my trusty dog almost right underneath me. I think that's about it. I'll see you in the morning. Nope.
Okay. This is my stove kit. One of the best things that I've learned how to do is like eliminate a lot of stove. I used to bring like a mess kit years and years ago and stuff. It's like you don't need all that. You know, most of the stuff you eat out here is dehydrated or what have you. You just don't need it. Something for a pot holder, you know, which is just stuffed into there. Then I always bring a plastic cup. Plastic because I found metal cups, you end up burning your lip most of the time when you make coffee or something like that in the morning. If the beverage is hot, especially aluminum gets so hot you have to wait until your beverage gets cold to even drink it. So I found this works a lot better, and it weighs nothing, absolutely nothing to it. And our stove ring, which you've seen them before. Can of fuel. A wire to go across the stove ring for making certain items. And this is my cup for a pot. You know, for putting on top of the fire or putting, you know, on top of the fuel. I have a piece of tin foil stashed away, which makes a perfect lid. I've also just done that too. Both work perfect. You know, this one actually is quick and easy, so most likely I'll be using that one. And this is just an old bag from, I believe, a rain poncho, which, you know, you can't beat reusing old stuff, you know. Recycle, you know. Okay.